Today I'm in Switzerland visiting the grave of actor James Mason. The English actor had a successful British and Hollywood career. Known for his distinctive voice and elegant demeanour, he was nominated 3 times for an Academy Award. James Mason is buried in the same cemetery as his close friend Charlie Chaplin. Mason was nominated for an Academy Award for his role in the 1954 version of A Star is Born, the 1966 film Georgie Girl, and the 1982 film The Verdict. Personally, I remember him best from the Hitchcock film North by Northwest. North by Northwest is often listed among the greatest films of all time. Now I'm in the village of Cossières-sur-Vevey, which is right next door to the town of Vevey. This is where James Mason lived from 1962 up until his death in 1984. I don't think anybody's shown the house on YouTube before, and I'm not 100% sure it's the same building. The original house may or may not have been demolished and rebuilt. It's certainly been heavily refurbished from the outside anyway, if it is the same house. I'll know when I find it, because there's a very notable landmark in the front garden. I underestimated this village, it's a lot bigger than I thought. Been walking for a while now. And this is the house, and this is the landmark I was referring to. The giant redwood tree. It's the second largest redwood tree in Switzerland. And the house is actually called Sequila Villa. Sequila is the Native American name for redwoods, so it's the correct name for them. And the birds are just going crazy in the tree. I hope they fly off so I can get it on film. Maybe I'll clap before I leave, see what happens. Now, James Mason was a fan of James Bond. The Bond author Ian Fleming had previously asked him to play Bond, but he turned down the offer, as he thought he was too old to play the part. According to Roger Moore, Mason was nearly cast as the main villain Hugo Drax in the 1979 Bond film Moonraker. Looking at the house, I can't tell if it's a new house or not, to be honest with you. I've just made some inquiries with a lady who happened to be passing, and she told me that this is not the original house. The original house was demolished about 6 years ago, and the original house was a 1-story building, quite long. It's probably built, she said it was built further that way. This lady lived a few houses behind this, and she didn't know James Mason personally, but she said he was very discreet and a very nice gentleman. Now, the original house was a 6-bedroom house, and it had a library and a wine cellar and a fireplace. Now, the lady told me that they're trying to protect this tree, but the likelihood is they're not going to succeed in the long run. So they've built the house too close to it, really. And James Mason actually owned some of the other houses around here, which he rented out. The lady whom I talked to was quite upset that the original house had been demolished. Yeah, you can see there's some space here, so the original house must have come up to this base here as well. Now there's a memorial to James Mason in the village. Just gonna try and find that now. Oh, the scenery here is just amazing. It's giving Wales a run for its money. Last time I was here I was referring to this lake as Lake Geneva, but the correct name for it is Lac Leman. Or Lac Leman. So it was probably irritating a lot of French speakers when I was referring to it as Lake Geneva. I filmed this earlier from the other side and I was thinking there was a house, but I think it's actually like a community centre. And here's the memorial, or the bust, high above the village. There's a good one as well. It does look like him. The bust was commissioned by his son Morgan and unveiled in 2017. The reason why it's located here, according to the lady I spoke to, was these vineyards were actually his. And there's a plaque here. I won't read it all out, but it says that he loved this region and its inhabitants, and he integrated well, participating actively in local life, and he was a keen football fan, and each year he had his membership card and 2 reserved seats at the Vevey Sports Club. And in the end, it says, in accordance with his wishes, his ashes lie in the cemetery of Corsier, close to the tomb of his friend Charlie Chaplin. Just have a quick look up here actually. Oh yeah, it looks like they've harvested the grapes already. And it is late September now, I guess. Wow, look at that view. I love it when I can bring you scenic videos. I think this is one of the most scenic I've done, I think. James Mason was an animal lover and he had a collection of dogs, cats and horses, and he also liked birds. And he wrote some books actually about animals, such as The Cats in Our Lives and Animals in My Life. He was a vegetarian and he supported animal rights causes. He once had an affair with Judy Garland, which lasted for a number of years, and Judy Garland was his co-star in A Star Is Born. They remained friends up until her death in 1969. This is All Saints Church in the town of Vevey. And this is where James Mason's funeral took place. There was an hour-long service here, with only 100 people present, just close family and friends. And the church was full of flowers. Friends of the actor were met by his widow, who was dressed in white. The service ended with the song All Things Bright and Beautiful. Corsier-sur-Sèvre Cemetery, the final resting place of James Mason. James Mason was cremated, and his widow, Clarissa Kay, refused to hand over the ashes to his children from his first marriage. And this led to a 15-year legal battle, whilst James Mason's ashes were kept in a bank vault. Eventually, a Swiss court ruled in favour of his children, and his ashes were buried here, close to his friend, Charlie Chaplin. I'll just show you, it'd be criminal not to show you Charlie Chaplin's grave, even though I've done a video about him last year. If you haven't seen that video, please check it out. I also visit his former home in that video. And here he is, probably the most famous entertainer of all time, Charles Chaplin, 1889 to 1977, and he's buried next to his wife Una Chaplin, 1925 to 1991. And his coffin was actually stolen from here soon after the burial, and a ransom demand was made, and it was a number of weeks before they located his grave, buried in a field not far from Montreux, and 2 local men were arrested. Now, James Mason's grave is just a few feet away. James Neville Mason, 1909 till 1984. His children chose a quote from Senator Edward Kennedy for the headstone, but unfortunately the grave needs a bit of a clean, and you can't really make it out. So what I'll do is I'll put that quote in the description of the video. Paying homage to Mason at his funeral, the author William Fairfield called the actor a brave and gentle man.